Yeah, thank you very much. I'm very happy to be here. Good afternoon. We're starting now more into the session on future city and what is smart city. And actually, when I want you to think about smart city, this is just not about technology, it's about a lot more. And I want you to have this picture in your head when we're talking about, and all the session that's going to happen now after this, is the Sustainable Development Goals. Smart city is not just technology, it is all of these things. Smart city is planning, smart city is technology, of course, smart city is solutions, smart city is smart financing, and smart city is also that we understand how our cities is going to go and develop in the future. So this is also what we want to show you a little bit more here. I also want to invite you to a session we have now in 25 of April here in Vienna, where you can actually see some of our key solutions that's going to be presented here. We're going to show you here with simulating cities how you get this understanding passed on to people.
But our exciting new journey to develop smart, sustainable cities has just begun. Humans understand data best in a visual format. Working with the UN, we created a digital twin of Ålesund, Norway, and augmented data with powerful 3D visualization tools. You can quickly interact with and interpret big data to identify trends, evaluate risk, test theories, and assess progress.
Simulation technology will be a game changer in achieving the UN Sustainable Development Goals, and Augmented City represents a unique possibility in this field.
As we upscale to other cities, join us, the UN and our partners, on a journey towards a smart and sustainable future.
Okay, thank you very much for inviting me here. This is pretty exciting. I've just come over from the United Nations, and it was a pretty different format there, I have to say, so I'm quite excited to be in this really chilled-out format. Okay, I want to tell you a little bit about how we deal with big data and how we're using big data for smart cities. And the first thing I want to talk about is my drive to work in the morning. I drive to work in the morning. I'm normally late. I'm normally thinking about 1,000 things from work. I've normally got 2 screaming children in the car, which is making me late. And I'm driving a car. And so far, no wood to touch, but so far I haven't crashed. And the point is, I am taking in and I'm working with big data. Every second I drive a car, I'm evaluating risk, and I'm taking in a huge amount of information very, very fast and making decisions. And that is because humans can deal with big data in a graphical format. If there's one thing I want you to remember from what I say today, it is that humans understand and can very powerfully work with big data if we put it into graphics. So, most of the time in life, we're dealing with a problem, and then we have to make some decisions from that problem. And most of those decisions we're trying to do with a gut feeling or bits of information here or there or something else. If we can take that from being a problem, use simulation, and take it into a fact, then we can make a solution very, very quickly. It's easy to decide when you've got facts. We've been doing this for years in the offshore branch. We're the most known simulation company for offshore simulation, and we've now just started. Just in September, we started to use this technology for the offshore branch, and we're already the key deliverer for the United Nations doing this. So I want to talk you through a case study. We're starting with a small city in Ålesund because it's easy to start with a small city where we can control stuff. And we're looking at the key performance indicators used by the United Nations. One of the key performance indicators you see here is the response time for a fire engine. And as you see, it's meant to be 10 minutes, but in this case, we understand when we've got traffic going through, and the traffic is the red ribbon here. So we're visualizing this, and when the red ribbon goes through here, we see how it's not 10 minutes. In fact, it goes up to 30 minutes. And if my house was on the peninsula there and made of wood, it would be burnt down. Now, that's one thing, but there's schools and there's nursing homes. Schools weren't so much of a worry because the kids are out of school through the time of the high traffic. So we've got a problem. And we thought, how can we solve this problem? And the normal solution is to, if it's roads, we look at roads. But what we thought here is, let's look at something else. So what we did is we changed the opening time of nurseries, kindergartens, and schools, and we saw what effect would it take to change the opening time of different schools and things. The next thing we looked at was parking, and we said, OK, what changes would happen if we quadrupled the price of parking in rush hour? Just in rush hour, not the rest of the time. Final thing we did which is absolute madness, is we got data from the council, and we saw 3 of their routes for garbage trucks planned for them to drive through rush hour traffic. It's unbelievable. But just looking at this, we changed it. Now, we took that in, and we simulated this, and we put against the original, against the simulation, and we cut it down from 30 minutes to 15 minutes. So we've halved it. And we haven't changed the infrastructure. We haven't had huge investment. All we've done is change some opening times, and actually the parking guys are even happier because they're getting more money. The final thing we did is we actually talked to the fire brigade, and we saw how long it was taking them to do this. So the first thing we saw is how long does it take for them to get from their office to the fire engine? Well, that's pretty quick. We couldn't do anything about that. We've looked at the traffic and how long it takes them to drive through traffic. Final thing is what time it takes when they're actually at the site and they're working there. And what we realized is the council is sitting with all of the data of what year that house was built, what fire regs it's built to, how many people should be in that building, where are the fire escapes. If you could stream that information to the fire brigade driving out, you've cut another 5 minutes off that time. Ålesund is a city where it doubles in population through the summertime. There's a lot of tourists coming in, so there's a huge increase. And this means that there is a huge flow of people. And here what you're looking at is data from people's SIM cards, and we're understanding how people flow through the city. So we know what countries they're coming from, and we understand how they're flowing through the city. If you can understand how people flow through your city, you can have control of how your city is working. So I've started to talk to you about a huge number of things, and this is just a small case study. We could use this for anything we want, and the point is here that a lot of people look at silo data. They look at individual bits of data, and they try and solve it in an individual way. The minute you can make a digital graphical twin, you can start with a top-down approach where you can actually add in data, and it doesn't matter the resolution of your data. You can have 2 sensors for one thing and 100,000 sensors for the other, and you can already start to find trends. And the idea is that this is easy to build up from stage 1, and as I said, we're working with the United Nations to really make a difference for sustainable cities. So this was just an intro, just a little taste. I'm going to be part of the group later talking about these solutions, but it's an interesting journey. As I said, it started just in September. We're already at this stage, and I think things are going to go pretty quickly. So I'd like to thank you for taking the time to listen to me, and I look forward to talking to you later on. Thanks very much, everybody.